Before I start this video, I want to thank everybody that like, comment, share, and subscribe. I see it. God see it. Blessings to you and your situations. Just in case you don't make it to the end of the video, I wanted to thank you now. Thank you. And I mean that.
You don't understand how fucked Hollywood is. In fact, people in it don't understand how fucked it is. They understand compartments of it. Mm-hmm. But once you start putting the whole thing together, you're like, oh, this isn't good.
Right.
You know? Only a few, Jim Brewer right now, I haven't talked to him in a long time, but I'll see him sometimes, and you could see, like, and Jamie Kennedy I talked to sometimes, and you go back and remember little things that were odd, and you can put it together and come up with some bad answers. And I do.
Like what, for example?
I had no idea how many people were, like, actively getting into, like, ritual shit that I happen to know personally.
In Hollywood?
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to say who it is on here, but I'll tell you after. But when I heard this, I was like, what? I don't even know how to describe the feeling of him. Like, I would have never, unless I was somebody thinking about this kind of shit, I wouldn't think twice. But now when I think about it, like, that's crazy. I'll tell you a thing that Tesmosis, let me shout this guy's channel out, Tezzmosis, because he did a great thing with, and I know you're big liberals here, but I think Rob Reiner's kid is a real spoiled brat myself. I think that kid was way out of line.
Wild take.
Sorry, leftists. Anyway, yeah, he had it all. He was rich, and he had a great dad who kisses him on his fucking mouth all the time, like Tom Brady. A nice Brady fly kiss. Have you looked up how much, like Carl Reiner to Rob Reiner before him? Have you seen the pictures online?
No.
Do you ever kiss your dad on his mouth now as a 38-year-old?
Fuck no.
Are you sure? And
he did that when he was in his 30s?
Put Carl Rob Reiner kiss, and it's in the day when the thing out, that weird movie Rob Reiner did about his son's rehabs, they would get in big fights and then kiss on the mouth. So already we're in a weird, here we go. Yeah, that's called a generationally fucked up family.
Oh my God. Well, maybe Italians do
Look
this
at them,
shit, don't they?
Do they hold the back of their adult son's head?
No. Hold up. He's just talking about Hollywood. This goes on in your neighborhood. I ran into two females that was in relationships with their fathers. They didn't know each other. This was years apart from meeting each other. Yeah, this shit is creepy. It's a cult. This goes on right around you. And their kids have so many demons in them, man. Borderline personality disorders, bipolar, schizophrenic. A lot of that shit comes from this. Remember this picture? That's Lil Wayne and Baby. Ain't Baby Lil Wayne daddy? Didn't he say that's his pawpaw? Birdman is Lil Wayne pawpaw.
Oh, they don't. That's fucking weird,
go
dude.
down, head holding.
It happened again.
Yeah, there's multiple.
God.
So why is there a fucking documentary about diddling about everything you ever remembered from everything? Did you ever ask yourself that? Look at that shit.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, it's not one pic.
I don't care how cool I am with a man, my father, my uncle, my brother, my best friend, my son. My son bet not try to come kiss me on the damn lips, man. And they did this shit a lot of time. They was just kissing fools.
Picture do. They do this all the time.
All the time.
What are you, freaking out the squares? Well, nobody was freaked out. Now, here's what I want to tell you about.
So unsettling to look at.
Yeah, well, look at him and his son.
Yeah, go to the one with him and his son.
His son went to rehab 18 times.
Look at this shit.
Now, I'm going to tell you this, and you can disagree with me, and nobody has to believe shit I'm saying, but I don't believe personally that anybody goes to rehab 18 times because they weren't viciously sexually abused. I don't believe that anyone goes to rehab 18 times unless they are being gaslit professionally on behalf of their fucked up family. That's what I think. It's just what I think. But what happened when the thing, it's terrible, this kid. There's channels talking about what a piece of shit this kid is for stabbing both his parents, and like Yeah, maybe he just is really selfish, but that seems really strange to me. All these Hollywood people's kids are like this. And if you remember,
But check it out. When I was younger, we had the Menendez brothers. And when I first heard about the Menendez brothers, just like everybody else, we thought that they was the devil, evil. They killed their parents. They was rich. They had everything. Why would they kill their parents? When I got older, I'm talking about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, when they was in the news, they wanted to release them. Recently, I started hearing what their father done to them. And I don't want to say I don't blame him for killing his ass. And the mother knew too. Have you ever heard something or read something that you wish you didn't hear or read? It just sounds so bad and nasty. Yeah, the Menendez brothers are some of these children. Well, they grown now. Just like this guy. I'm telling you, man. That's why he took his pops out. Because his pops was abusing him ever since he was a little boy. Like I said, I've come across 2 women in my life. And their fathers was their boyfriends. You hear what I'm saying? Sometimes I wish people didn't trust me so much to tell me their whole life story and shit. But people do. I also had another friend, and he was too close to his mama. They used to kiss on the lips. They used to call each other baby and stuff. He used to call his mama baby. She used to call him baby. Like, hey, baby, you got some, you went grocery shopping today, baby? And she'd be like, nah, baby. And it just was kind of weird to me. You know what I'm saying?
remember Mackenzie Phillips from One Day at a Time, the 70s, and Wilson Phillips was a band her half sister was in. The Mamas and Papas guy, I don't know, John Mamas or Phillips. John Phillips, she had an incestuous relationship with him. She wrote a book about it. Came out in 2007. Showing Larry King talking about it. If you go on Control History, they talk about how there was a Reddit message board from someone named Starchild, that's the name they went by, talk about all this shit we're talking about now. I didn't hear of it back then. Now, people theorize that it was Walter Koenig's son, but that's just a theory. Because Starchild, Star Trek.
Mm-hmm. That's bonkers.
You saw Gene Roddenberry's creepy-ass shit, right?
No.
You haven't seen this?
No.
Jay? Okay. Jay from Project Unity showed it to me. Do you know Jay?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that guy rules, dude.
Yeah, he's great.
I fucking love Jay. So he showed it to me. It's Gene Roddenberry talking about, he sounds like the Family Guy guy that likes Peter's kid.
Quagmire?
No, the old vile guy with the weird guy. Like, that muscle on paper bush. And he like
whistles.
whistles.
The old man. Yeah.
Roddenberry talks like him. And he's saying shit. If you can't find it, I'll find it. But it's such a creepy sample, dude.
This guy?
Yeah. Take it back a little bit. It'll make it. Yeah, dude.
What's he talking about?
It must be right at the part where it's at the right part. You can find it isolated too.
Okay. Would you tell us a little bit about your family?
Oh yeah, here we go.
I've been very fortunate in family. I've had 2 marriages.
He sounds
both
just
happy.
like him.
In my first marriage, I had 2 lovely daughters. And I had the joy in that marriage of girls. And girls are such delicious, sweet-smelling,
yeah, that's true.
wonderful things.
Mm-hmm.
What
I
the
can
fuck
still
did he
remember
just say?
What
What did this guy just say? Why did he say it like that? That shit sounds so weird. How he described little girls.
wonderful things.
Mm-hmm.
I can still remember when they would be so clean and their hair done, their starched dresses, and how when they would bend over, the dresses would come up and you'd see the panties and
This dude is an ultra creep. Let me run that back. This dude is creepy as hell. He's describing like his granddaughters or something, little bitty girls. This is in 1988.
I've had 2 marriages.
He sounds
Both
just
happy.
like him.
In my first marriage, I had 2 lovely daughters, and I had the joy in that marriage of girls. And girls are such delicious, sweet-smelling.
Delicious?
Yeah, that's true.
What?
What the fuck? Delicious? What's delicious? Hey, they creepy. Look, and they so comfortable. Especially back in 1988. They was doing this shit so much. Just so comfortable, just sitting there talking about delicious, sweet-smelling little girls bending over, and you could see they underwear. This is the people that we watch their movies, we wear their clothes, we eat their food. Who is this guy even?
Wonderful things. I can still remember when they would be so clean and their hair done, their starched dresses, and how when they would bend over, the dresses would come up, and you'd see the panties and.
What? He's talking about his daughters?
Little girls are just totally beautiful things, and I was happy. I was lucky with my girls in that they never had the problems that sometimes. Some
never
people
stabbed you for that shit?
have with,
My,
girls.
who is this guy?
Not that my daughters didn't
Gene
have their
Roddenberry?
own
What's his?
problems.
Yeah, who is
The
he?
creator of Star Trek?
This is the creator of Star Trek.
Yeah, the beloved creator of Star Trek.
That was the creator of Star Trek? I didn't know that. Now, I watched Star Trek a lot, but I didn't know that guy created Star Trek. Somebody in the comment section was talking about Star Trek yesterday. They said, beam me up, Scotty. Look, don't be beaming me up nowhere around this guy.
Oh my
A
god!
guy
Did you
who-
know this, Steve?
I did not.
Yeah.
That's me.
God.
So think about Star Trek, because that's the future we're on. Now, if you recall the lore of Star Trek, as I'm sure you guys are both well aware of the lore of Star Trek, Star Trek doesn't happen until after a nuclear war. First, there's the eugenics
Is
wars.
that what the story is? It's after nuclear war.
Yeah, it's a real Warhammer. Warhammer 40K is closer probably to our reality than Star Trek.
Oh my god, bro.
And anyway, so that is H.G. Wells' Things to Come on YouTube for free. H.G. Wells is a member of this cabal. It was called Cecil Rhodes Roundtables, was the effective Illuminati of the time. That's in Tragedy and Hope. You used to know Sir Cecil Rhodes?
I've heard the name.
The father of apartheid in concentration camps. If you ever saw The King's Man, they depict the English concentration camps for the Boers and blacks that fought with them.
I am so far behind on all this stuff.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know jack shit about most of the stuff you're spitting out here.
Some people know.
I gotta read more.
Dude, I literally am watching videos while I take a shit. You don't got to do shit. It's so easy. Listen, I want to make it clear. Now, I know I fool people. I'm not smart at all. I literally just remembered a thing once in a while. That's why I'm so upset is with that Fort Bragg thing, how effective whatever those scum are doing. Mm-hmm. I'm not particularly genius in any fucking way. This is shit anyone should notice.
Right.
If they feel like noticing it.
Right.
Yo, I didn't know there was a third building called Tower 7 until last year. Do you understand? Why the fuck wouldn't I know that until just recently? Because it's effective. America's worse than North Korea as far as propaganda, 100%.
So building 7 had
No. Listen, he ain't lying, because all my life until about up to 2 years ago, on the song Beat It, Michael Jackson's song Beat It, he say, beat it, beat it. I used to think he used to say, beat it, beat it. All you got to do is beat it. Wait, hold on. Yeah. But it says, beat it, no one wants to be defeated. And I was like, I just heard it one day. I said, all this time, he was saying, no one wants to be defeated. I was like 43 years old when I found that shit out.
all the CIA. It was a CIA. There was a CIA.
Oh, darn it. And that $2 trillion of shit that is missing they can't account for.
Julian was telling me that he thinks there's, Julian Dory told me he thinks that building would have been wired with explosives when they built it.
Of course it would have been. He's dead right about that. Not only that, Julian told me that he thinks Steve Bannon is a spy. And
he's always told me that. The day I met him, we were talking about Epstein and Steve Bannon. He was telling me,
dude, he's worse. Bannon's worse than that. But Julian's not a guy that will jump over to where I'm at automatically. So that's a thing that he personally noticed.
Yeah,
that stuck with him. Those are the things to really follow when something sticks. Like just jokes I remember people had that were like, did you ever notice jokes? But they're fucked up. Then you realize and now a lot of jokes are coming true. It's really upsetting.
If you enjoy watching our show on Spotify or YouTube and you want to be more involved, I encourage you to please come check out our Patreon community. Not only does our Patreon community get every episode you see on YouTube early, fully uncensored, and ad-free, but we're also doing Patreon exclusive episodes as well as live Q&As, and you can get your personal
27 demons and one human?
Yeah.
What was the one in modern history?
The Mormons. It's a modified form of Freemasonry anyway.
How many demons are there?
Billions, literally.
Can a demon possess multiple people at one time?
Yeah, so all the gods of the Gentiles are demons.
What's the most you've seen?
Well, I said this one had Legion. And I believe it was Legion. But outside that context, the one that I've seen the most is 27.
27 demons and one human?
Yeah. And it was pretty sad case. This guy was a hurting unit, man, from all that. So most of them, though, it's somewhere between 1 to 8, maybe, are the most, as that you tend to see as a general rule. I actually did see a case where I did one case where I got rid of one demon of fear. The woman went out and did something really stupid, and then when she came back, it was literally like scripture: 1 leaves and 7 come back, and that was literally she had 7. So. But so the number of possessors, the names, because once you know the name, there's 2 aspects to the name. One, it gives you an identity. So, for example, when I had Loki in a case, once the demon revealed what his name was, then I was able to actually go and research historically Loki as a Norse god. Because it says right in scripture, all the gods of Gentiles are demons. And so you can actually just go and look at the worship that they used to give to Loki in the past, and to the Norse god of Loki. And what you'll find out in there is almost a complete description of his personality. He's a god of mischief. And so he was just such a handle to get a hold of. But once you know the name, then you can do some research, or you can ask other exorcists, have you seen this guy, etc. The second thing is the name gives you a power over them. Now, demons will either reveal their name right off.
I always say, if you name it, you can tame it.
The bat, if it's not going to help, if it's not going to be mean that much. Or they'll hold out as long as they possibly can, because once you know their name, then it gives you a certain power over them. We actually experience this as human beings. So if I call your name, hey, Sean, if you're standing over there and I say, hey, Sean, right? When it goes into your faculties and you hear it, it draws your attention. Well, it's the same thing with them. When you're using their name, it draws their attention, and they can't get their mind off of the thing that you're telling them to do. And so it gives you a power actually over them. So the names, how they got in, because a lot of times how they got in is how they're going to get out. Plus, times how they got in is very often, like if it's because they were wounded very badly, like a woman was raped or something of that sort, then you maybe some psychological issues that have to be addressed first before she's going to get liberated. And then the time and date of departure when you're leaving. I don't ask that too often because they usually lie. Now, only about 10% of the time do they actually tell the truth, but they usually lie. They'll say, oh, I'm leaving tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes and goes and they don't leave. And the reason they're doing that is they're trying to discourage the person who's last piece of information is, what is it going to take to get you out? And usually it's something very simple. So in the last case that the woman was liberated that I was working with, it took us a long time to get out this piece of information. She had to go to a specific altar in a particular church, and I had to say a specific prayer over her, and she would leave, and he would leave. We did it. Boom, he was out. But it took us a long time to get him to that point. That last piece of information is what they're going to hold out. And there's 6 stages of liberation. Stage 6 is liberation. Stage 5, that last piece of information is going to come out in stage 5.
Wow. When you're talking about curses, does this play into this as well, curses? Can you ask who the curse came from?
Yes. Well, they'll often reveal it. So if the person's possessed, you'll actually, if they're not possessed, the demons can't talk necessarily. Whereas if the person's possessed, you can beat him to the surface and force him to talk, and he'll talk. And then at that point, they'll, if the person was cursed, you have to break the curse. And that's going to be how you're going to liberate them. And so as a result, the demon's going to have to tell you at some point who cursed them and how it was done. And then there's usually specific things that you can do to invert those or break the curses.
How many demons are there?
Billions, literally. So when God created all the angels, he created the entire hierarchy of angels instantaneously all at once. And so starting from the seraphim, which is at the top, all the way down to just angels at the bottom. Of the class of the angels alone, there's one subset, which is the guardian angels. And every human being that has reached, that has basically been born or basically been conceived has had a guardian angel created specifically for that particular individual. So you're talking billions just in that one subclass. The number of angels that fell is from Book of Revelation, where Satan took a third of the stars and with his tail and swept them down. So that's, the fathers say that means that a third of the angels actually fell. Now, not a third get to possess or have much to do with us in this life. Most of the possessions that we see are from the top rank, which is the top 3 choirs, the thrones, the cherubim, and the seraphim. So, it'd be Satan, Lucifer, and Beelzebub, but there would also be Baal, Asmodeus, Leviathan, Lilith, Baphomet, and then also Moloch. Those are the ones in the middle. There's also other ones like Abaddon, who they're kind of in the middle. You don't see too many in the middle tier very often. And then you'll see a lot of the lower grunt guys at the bottom, whose job is to just kind of do the bidding of the guys at the top. And so those are where you see most of the possessed and demons coming from.
And so when they name themselves, is this all recorded? When you're talking about billions of demons and you get one to name itself during an exorcism, you go do some research. I mean, how many times has it been where it wasn't recorded?
Right.
Most of it. Actually.
Most of it.
Yeah, because historically, to be an exorcist was done by mentorship. So what would happen is if you were chosen to be an exorcist, you would go and study under some guy for like a year to 2 years, and then he would teach you all these things, like we're talking about. And so you would learn those things, and you'd learn the names of demons, and you'd see them in session and get a sense for them before you started out on your own. But because of the number of exorcists collapsed in the church, and then now they're just trying to get it back up off the ground. We teach classes, actually. My community and I, we actually teach classes. And then there's also a place in Mundelein that teaches courses on this particular topic. And so, but then we encourage people to come and sit on session, because it's one thing for me to tell you that, oh yeah, people change shape during session, and it's another thing to actually see it and see what you're actually looking at. So, because anytime demons preternaturally manifest, there's a real revelation, something about the demon. It's called the cause is always some way in the effect. It's a philosophical principle. The cause is always some way in the effect. And so they're revealing it. So when they do those types of things, those things don't, the only thing I'm really interested in is, what am I seeing? What can I learn from what is going on in this guy? Because that information is going to tell me something about him, and it's going to be helpful for me to get him out.
But before we move into shape-shifting and that kind of stuff, I'm just curious. So would that be your responsibility to record a new name with a new personality?
So we don't necessarily record it, but we are actually in the process of building a database. so that exorcists would have access to the database, because some of the common ones like Satan, Lucifer, and those things, or even some of the more common ones like Abaddon, who's the demon of destruction, you'll get you can find out a fair amount of information about these guys. We'll put those in the database, but there's a lot of ones that are less known, and so exorcists come across them. I've come across demons that other exorcists haven't. They've come across demons that I've never even heard of, or nobody's ever even heard of, and it seems authentic, etc. So we want to get a database so that going forward, exorcists, if they come across somebody, they don't have to spend all the time doing the research. They can just quickly go take a look at the database and get a sense of, this is what the guy's weaknesses are. This is what he got out in these these cases. This is what got him out. This is his history. Because like the god of Isis or Osiris, those are Egyptian gods, but those are also demons. So if you know what those are, then you can actually don't have to go and read a bunch of Egyptian in order to know what these guys are.
Can a demon possess multiple people at one time?
Yeah, you can. I actually had a case of that.
Like gangbangers or the KKK, the Los Angeles Police Department, the Los Angeles Sheriffs. It's like all of these people are possessed by the same demon. Yes, the LAPD is like gangbangers. The Los Angeles Sheriffs are like gangbangers. I don't know about the other police departments across America, but I know damn well them LA Sheriffs got the same demon that the Blood and Crips and the Sureños got. They all got the same demons. There's a lot of Los Angeles police officers that look just like essays. Tattoos, bald-headed, and all that shit. Same demon.
Two cases. Where the same possessor was possessing two sisters who were blood related. And so when we would do sessions with one, the other one would manifest from time to time outside of the session.
Holy shit.
So we had to do a lot of stuff to keep them from what we call cross animation, which is where, when they're around each other, the demons are going to manifest. So you see that from time to time where someone who's possessed, they'll get around someone else who's possessed, and whoever has the lower demons in them will be the one where the lowest demon will manifest in the presence of the bigger demon. But they can possess more than one. They generally can only act on one thing at a time.
Okay.
But Thomas Aquinas says that they can act on a number of different things at the same time if it all falls under the same conceptual idea. So, for example, someone can juggle where they're keeping several things in the air at once. The demons can act on, like, I'm going to act on these three people that I'm possessing because I'm, my access to them is the same, and so they can act on three people at the same time. But normally they don't do that.
They do that in gangs. They do that in gang stalking, what I call the wolf pack tactic. I remember when I was into sorcery, my mother didn't know at the time. I was staying with her. This was years ago. This was about 21 years ago. I wanted to see the demon that was behind gangbanging and the police and all of this stuff going on in South Central LA, Watts, Compton. I wanted to see the demon that was behind it. So one night, this about 2 a.m, we hear a lot of stuff by the trash cans, a lot of stuff going on in the backyard. And when we look out the window, my mom's is looking in her room. I'm in the bathroom. I'm looking out the bathroom window, and I see these dogs. It's about 4 dogs. And it was a lot of cats in my mom's backyard and a neighbor's backyard. It was a lot. And the dogs came back there and they just killed them. They had some in the corner. They was just ripping them up. And I literally seen the demon. My mom's did too. My mom said she felt it. It was a leader, and the demon was really up in him. And while they was ripping the cats up, he was just in the middle, like commanding them to go do this and do that. They killed about 5 cats that night. It was a gang of cats over there. And then my mom's was like, hey, get out of here, get out of here. And then I started screaming like, get out of here. And the dogs wasn't even scared. The leader looked at the window and started barking. And you know how they cover up when they use the bathroom, how dogs and cats use their legs to cover up their shit? He started doing that to the window. And then he barked and then they all left. Demons, man. These same demons that was in these dogs, this demon that was in these dogs, that same demon is responsible for drive-bys and all that, man.
And it sounds like all of these demons were false gods at some point. You said god of a Norse god, Egyptian gods, Baal, Moloch.
Yeah. Not
Baphomet.
And this might be the best news I've heard, bro. And you too, because who knows what these people were feeding us? They're finally shutting down, y'all. And this might be the best news I've heard, bro. And you too, because who knows what these people were feeding us? Hundreds and hundreds of these big food chains are losing their power, and not because they want to, but it's because we're waking up. Listen to this, yo.
I came on here and I told you 3 years ago, and people said I was crazy. They said I was looking at it non-clinically, non-scientifically. But the reason why narcissists are the way they are is because narcissists are actually evil. There is a spiritual component to it. They are wicked people. And no, you don't have to take my word for it. Take it from the horse's mouth.
Tell us, Amir, what is a narcissist?
A demon. Listen, we demons. My demon. You can't give us no medicine for this. It's a spirit. It's a spirit. We do a lot.
I came on.
Literally my first time in a record. Y'all, literally my first time in a record store. Like, this is freaking crazy.
She knows. I don't trust shit.
You know what's crazy? Most people ain't thought about this, but I think about ignorant shit. Motherfuckers that was born in the 60s are now in their 60s. This ain't no crip joke. I'm telling you. You know what's crazy?
In every family, there's usually one person who feels like they don't belong. Not because they're wrong, but because they see everything too clearly. Psychology calls them the black sheep, the one who questions what everyone else blindly accepts and refuses to follow broken traditions. They're labeled dramatic or difficult, but in reality, they're the one brave enough to break the cycle. They aren't the problem. They're the pattern breaker. If this sounds like you, comment black sheep and follow.
I'm gonna show you a paid clone. Body double in real time.
And some knucklehead films me
as perpetrating one of the largest frauds.
They look too much alike. They even stutter the same.
So traffic acting is a real thing?
Yeah.
How did you get into this?
Just casting.
Central casting?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we've heard about central casting. This isn't the first time that this has come up. Is this central casting 2.0, the special one that you have to know somebody?
Yes, oh, definitely.
How did you stop traffic?
I've been telling people this shit for years. In these big cities, especially LA, the traffic is not real. A lot of these accidents are fake. Sometimes you will see a person broken down in the middle of the road. A lot of these people are actors, man.
I would be on a bike, skate across the 4 lanes, traffic dies down, fills it up.
It seems like the people who have the most to gain from this is big oil.
My cannon.
Oh, if there was no traffic actors, what would traffic be like in Los Angeles?
It would be great. Everyone would get around anywhere. You could go anywhere.
I always knew something was up. If everybody's going the same speed at the same time it should just be a flow.
It'd be like anywhere else in the world.
At any given time, how many traffic actors are acting at one time?
Oh, they're upwards to hundreds.
Hundreds in Southern California.
Look at all the traffic. And look at like 134, 101. The 405 alone at least has 6 actors a day.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing this, and I'm just glad, I'm glad someone's talking about it, because we've heard this rumor for a long time.
Yeah, it's good to get it off my chest.
Everything is fake in this system.
So if you in the bloodline and you keep thinking you chosen, the refinement cannot be done around people who are wishing your downfall. There's a conflict there. That's why everyone that God ever used, he made them move away from the very root cause that was impacting them. So if you in the blood...
Right, so the CIA dropped documents saying that we're living inside a hologram. Not maybe, not theoretically. No, your entire life is basically a rendered environment. And your brain is the controller. Let's talk about it. So the doc is called the Gateway Experience. And inside of it, the CIA literally says, reality is a projection. You ain't hear what I said, right? Not physical, not solid, a self-generated simulation your conscious is plugged into. Like a cosmic VR headset you didn't consent to wearing. According to them, matter isn't even matter. It's just vibrations organized by your brain to make this shit look real. Crazy shit. They say you could break the simulation by syncing both sides of your brain, something called hemisync. And this is for entertainment purposes only, informational purposes only, educational purposes only. 2 different tones in each ear between 3 and 7 hertz. And suddenly your brain clicks into a higher operating system. And once you're in that state, the CIA claim you could do some crazy shit. Leave your body, remote view locations, manipulate your reality field, access information outside of time. Basically some superhuman shit. This is what they're saying. The CIA also goes as far as saying the universe is a giant holographic projection coming from a source that we can't see. Your body is the avatar. Your conscience is the player. And the game responds to your level of awareness.
Right.
You heard what I just said?
Yeah.
They tried to bury this shit. For years, these documents were classified. Let Google be your best friend. Jump down that rabbit hole. I'm on. Right, so...
Do dirty better be in a 97 Honda and below, because everything else gonna connect to them towers on your ass, boy. You better have a dirt-doing gas car with a carburetor on it, you know, because anything with a computer, anything you can log into,
anything with Wi-Fi, all them new cars gonna tell on you.
All of it. You better park. Motherfuckers getting life sentences over shit pinging to a tower.
They giving motherfuckers jail time for phone calls from 10 years ago. Better watch what the fuck you doing out here in this society. When you buy that new car is for play. You still need a 98 Oldsmobile.
Right.
You better keep that Corsica or that Geostorm, you know, that Honda Prelude, all them type of cars.
Better send off for them parts.
Chrysler New Yorker, yeah, you better keep a couple of those.
Right.
Because when you got to go do something, boy.
Somebody say all cars have a computer now. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true, man. I don't even like the radio I put on my car, but it ain't hooked up to no Wi-Fi or nothing.
Right.
I don't even want a Wi-Fi enabled radio in my old school.
No.
Because that's how they track you. I don't want to be tracked.
No, hell yeah.
If your phone can connect to your radio, you already can be you're already being tracked.
Right.
That's real.
So if you really doing something that you don't want nobody to know about, besides...
If you got a phone, you being tracked. If you got a phone, you being tracked. It's already over. We being tracked anyway. It don't even matter.
The cameras that's on the freeway and set up all over the city you in, you can't take your phone with you.
Right.
I don't really know what to do with this information, so I'm just going to spill it onto you all. You guys have heard about Gerald the dolphin, right? This guy that got supposedly kidnapped by a dolphin and it communicated with him. Oh. Okay, anyhow, this guy said that he went in this deep dive and he is a sound scientist where they study sound waves and frequencies. And I've always joked about, I think all animals can talk to each other, and this guy is essentially proving it right now. He broke down, every sound wave that animals can make, and to us, they sound wildly different, but he's, actually a grizzly bear and, a cow. If you change the frequency of the cow and the frequency of the grizzly bear just, slightly, they're making the same noise. If you speed up a whale that a whale does and slow down a parrot squawk, it sounds the exact same. He did this for like hundreds of animals as examples, like chimpanzee screams and dolphin clicks are the exact same noise, just sped up or slowed down with a slightly different frequency pitch. The only animal that doesn't make a noise in the same frequency is us, like humans. Like, we're the aliens, apparently, because every animal out there is essentially just making the exact same noise in a slightly different frequency. And now I don't have to do this information. Like, mouse squeaks and puppy yelps are like 0.2 little gigahertz or whatever difference, and that's it. And then it's the same noise. I don't have to do the information. So there you go. Somebody will know what to do.
Tartarians knew all about that. You're creating an antenna between the Earth and the ether. The ether is everywhere above the ground. So there's an electrical connection. But it's so subtle, the plants can understand it. When you wind a copper wire around the stick 8 or 10 times, stick one end into the soil, antenna is sticking up, the microorganisms, millions, billions of them in the soil, react positively. It feeds them, it energizes them, and because this is happening, you get a much greater rate of growth, more lush foliage, more fruit, and you can test it by putting these copper wires into the soil and then watching what happens to your plants. Tartar.
We're at the pyramid of Kukulkan. What you are witnessing right now is sacred solar mathematics. This pyramid is built specifically for this day, being spring equinox, meant to commemorate feathered serpent, Kukulkan, aka the sun, coming back from the heavens to serve humanity. This is the beginning of the solar year. Spring equinox is the true new year. So on spring equinox and on fall equinox, every year, the serpent shadow is created by the sun, cast off of that corner of the pyramid onto the wall of the staircase, ending at the dragon's head. There are 91 steps on each staircase. 91 times 4 is 364. You add that top room, you got 365, honoring and commemorating the 365 days in the solar calendar. This pyramid was built perfectly to create this shadow right here on spring equinox, and then on fall equinox, another shadow was created on those stairs. Perfect precision to build this pyramid. Yeah.
People who take pictures of their meals are basically taking before pictures of their fecal matter. Isn't that concerning? People who take...
I don't exist. So they're all characters that I played, including Jim Carrey, including Joel Barish, including any of those things. They're all characters. Jim Carrey was a less intentional character, right? Because I thought I was just building something that people would like, but it was a character. I played the guy that was free from concern so that people who watched me would be free from concern.
We are naturally telepathic, but the signal-to-noise ratio is too high. The creators, or the current controllers, have filled the airwaves with EMF, radio, and Wi-Fi. This electronic smog acts as a jammer. The subtle frequencies of mind-to-mind communication are drowned out by the screaming static of the technological matrix, forcing us to rely on devices rather than our innate abilities.